Welcome to Freedom After 40, the show for Gen Xers ready to create income online, escape the 9 to 5, travel the world, and live life on your terms. Here's your host, Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Not a guru, just a fellow Gen Xer, a few steps ahead, who guides you through the mindset shifts, money moves, and digital strategies that helped him leave the grind behind and start living free. If you're tired of feeling stuck and know there's more life to live, this show is your roadmap to building the second half comeback you deserve. Let's create, escape, travel, and live.
Hey, what's up? What's up? This your man Orville J. Parker, aka Coach Guys. Welcome to this episode of Freedom After 40. If you're a first-time listener, viewer, I want to thank you for stopping by, taking some time out your day to check out what it is that I'm doing over here. And if you're a loyal viewer, you're one of those ones. I want to thank you for your continuous support. All right, so what is Freedom After 40? Freedom After 40 is a show that I do where I showcase just different ideas and strategies and resources that are going to help Generation Xers make that transition in the second part of their lives. One where they're prepared, one where they're self-reliant, and one where they get free. Around here, we don't believe in retirement. We believe that you rewire and not retire. And so on this show, man, I just try to share with you guys my journey at life at this stage in the game. And also, just to be your best friend, man, and a person that's going to help you guys figure out how to create that new life that you've been dreaming of after the career, after you done the time at the job. All right, after the kids and got out the house. Okay. And so yeah. All right, guys. So I'm excited. Man. I'm excited. I got so many things going on, man, that is crazy. And and guys, if you listen to yesterday's episode, I told you guys I'm putting a sense of urgency on getting organized, man, because I have a tendency, man, to let that squirrel brain and that creative brain just go crazy. And it got to a point now to where, I'm being productive, but I don't think I'm being as effective as I could be because I have a lack of organization. Okay. That's not good. But guess what, guys? I am going to get that fixed. See that, guys? I even got the applauses and stuff. Check this out. Yeah, buddy. Nah. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna get that fixed. So I got some different ideas that I'm working on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the screen around and show you one of the tools that I'm getting ready to put in place, and then we're gonna talk about how to set your home office up. I think for success. If you are a remote worker, or if you work part time out of your home office, or you like me, you're out here trying to do that whole pinky in the brain thing and take over the world, all right? And you're building enterprises, things that you're birthing out of this thing here at home. Then I'm gonna start talking to you guys and sharing with you just what I've figured out over the last couple of years and how I'm looking to improve my home office game. And guys, you got to remember, your home office is your sacred place, man. That's the place that you own and control. Like, think about this. You go to a job, you might be a boss at a job. Okay. You might have an office at a job, but it's not your office. Somebody else owns that office, right? If that job ever told you had to get out that office, you'll have to get out that office. All right. But your home office, man, that's your baby. That's yours. Mine's I consider office/studio/man cave. Okay. And so what we're gonna be doing is I got some updates, some things that I want to do here in the office to make it a lot better this winter. And so I'll be sharing that with you guys. Got some like I said, some organizing. I don't have a junky office, but for my likes, it's starting to get a little bit too much in here. So I'm gonna be figuring out a way to lean it back out. But again, if a lot of you guys looked at it, you say, okay, Orval, what are you talking about, man? Yeah, I'm just so used to not having a lot of things around. And I think that all falls to organization. I just need to put some things in place that'll hold some things so some things ain't sitting around. Like right now on my I have this huge workstation here. And it's this old school desk, right? I love it. Love it. Got it for free, man, when I first moved here. But it houses everything. But I see I have more than what I'm comfortable sitting on this desktop. So I got to get this organized. Okay. So we'll be talking about that kind of stuff as we get to going. Okay. Um yeah, so let me do this right here. Let's go over and let me show you guys this one too. So one of the things about getting organized is leveraging tools out there. Now, I didn't been in and out of this whole organization, productivity type of thing for the last 3 years. And I've looked at a lot of things, tried a lot of things, and stopped most of them. Okay. Because I didn't have the discipline. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I didn't have the discipline to stay consistent with it. And when I was sitting back thinking about it, I say, okay, what contributed to that lack of discipline? And this is just what I came up with, guys. Now you might have a different excuse. All right, but this is my excuse and I'm on it. I have found that the more complicated something is, it might be good, it might be effective, but the more complicated something is, the less likely I am to continue with it, to be consistent with it. Okay. And I've tried paper planning. I've tried digital planning. I've used Apple Notes. I used Notion. I used FreeCamp, another software that I had. And I've tried a lot of different things. And none of it worked. Even though it was all good, but none of it worked. And when I was sitting down, I was thinking about this and I said, okay, did the tools not work or did I not work? Because when I looked at it, I was the common denominator. I was like, man, millions of people are using these tools very effectively, but I'm not. And so it has to be something with me, all right? And I hate to say that, but it was. And so it pretty much boiled down to lack of discipline and then just my philosophy of why and how I was doing what I was doing. And when I thought about it, I said, okay, Orville, you need to get in and you need to put together a system that makes sense to you, something that's simple. So first of all, you can remove that excuse out the way. And then you need to execute some discipline, but maybe, just maybe, you need to change how you are looking at what it is that you're doing with these tools and stuff. Okay. And so I'm gonna work on a lot of it, guys. Mindset, skill set. I'm working on a lot of it. But let me show you what I got. So I'm gonna take you guys over to Notion. All right. Now to jump back between Notion, Apple Notes, Notion, Apple Notes. But I'm gonna stick with Notion this year. So for 2026, I'm working with Notion. And if you guys you get a chance to go over to Notion, you can download their software for free. All right. And it's robust, man. It has a lot that you can do with it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you just one part of it today. So give me a minute, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you, and we're gonna rock on some Notion. All right, so let me see what I'm looking at. All right, so you guys should be looking at my desktop. All right, now. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at Notion. So one of the cool things about Notion is that you have this huge community. A lot of Fortune 100 companies, creators, just business owners, startup founders, entrepreneurs. Everybody uses Notion. Okay, Notion is very customizable. So you can get in, you can make Notion yours, color schemes, layout, all that. Okay, Notion has a huge community that puts out a lot of tools to integrate or interact or plug into Notion. And you could do a lot of things. You could do everything from keeping a daily journal, spreadsheets. You can build websites with Notion. You can do to-do lists. A lot of people do almost anything and everything around, and it's this whole ecosystem built around Notion. And I'm gonna take you guys over real quick. Let's go into Chrome tab here. Take you guys over here, and I'm gonna take you to Notion so you can just kind of see, and then you guys, I would advise you guys go sign up for it. Okay, so this is Notion here. All right, let me make sure you guys are looking at it because sometimes I do this and I have my. All right, give me a minute. Okay. I lost that one screen. Oh, there it is down there, guys. Yeah. All right, so let me make sure I got you guys looking at Notion. All right. Okay. All right. All right, so you guys are looking at it. Okay, go over here. Sign up for free, guys. Sign up for free. Some of the coolest software out there. All right. Now it does have a learning curve, but you don't have to complicate it. Just go over and use it simple. Simple. Like if you want to do a to-do list, you want to create a journal, you want to plan out your day, you just do that. But this is the thing, okay? I've used Apple Notes, I've used Notion, I used another software. I'm going back to Notion. I'm gonna give Notion a good year of me using it. All right, again this time, okay? But go over to Notion, guys. You're gonna thank me when it's all said and done. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so here. So one of the cool things I like about Notion, man, is that when I need a tool, a lot of times I can go find that tool for free inside the community, which I go to Notion website, and most of the tools I'm looking for are what we call templates. That's where somebody else have created something that I can actually use, and I don't have to create it. Okay. Now this particular template here is called Timebox. And this is Harvard's top strategy for productivity. Okay, they went out and they surveyed all their students, their faculty, their staffs, everybody. All right, and they asked them what was their most effective productivity framework. Okay, and this is what came up. And when I saw it, remember I told you guys. Remember I told you guys. I say I love simplicity because I'm finding out now, all right, that one of my weaknesses is friction. If there's too many steps or too many things I got to do, I'm not going to stay consistent with it. It has to be very simple. I have a mentor, Jeff Olson. Okay, he put out a book called The Slight Edge Principle, and one of the things Jeff said in the book was he said, "What's easy to do is easy not to do." All right, really think about that. What is easy to do is easy not to do because of human nature. Now think about complicated. If easy is easy not to do, what do you think complicated is? I would think that you have more of an excuse with complicated, right? So if you can't stick to the easy thing, how you gonna stick to the complicated thing? And to me that boils down to simplicity, right? And I'm gonna tell you guys how I'm looking at it. So in 2026, I'm getting everything worded up now. 2026, I'm going back and I'm implementing some of the things I've learned over the years that I know work. All right, but where I didn't work. And then this year is going to be about me jumping back in personal development, guys, and just really starting to recondition my mind and then work on my disciplines, right? So do a lot of inner work, right? Do a lot of inner work because it ain't the tools that don't work, it's me. But in 2026, I want to try to explore some different strategies that I've already done in the past, but maybe bring them back over here with this new frame of mind to where I'm saying, okay, the tool wasn't the problem, I was the problem. Now let me figure out why I had a problem with the tool and then get in and get some of this fixed, right? But the thing that I'm keeping in the front of my mind is that there is no rules. I get to create this and have it look and be whatever I want it to be. And I think that's key with you continuing with something. I mean, I think that's key. I think that's key. And so one of the things that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna make sure that I make it my own. All right, I'm gonna make sure that I make everything my own. Okay, so let's go back and look at it. Let's go back and look at the. All right, so this is that tool that Harvard put out. Okay, now it's very simple, and this is what I do, guys. You can do how you want to do. So when you go over there to Notion, you say you want a template. You click on a button, and then it sideloads into your Notion. Okay, and this is just pretty much an interactive spreadsheet. So they call it time boxing, okay? And I labeled it my productivity dashboard. So the way it would work is one of the things that I do, and I know a lot of creatives do this and a lot of entrepreneurs do this, is that we have all these ideals that we're thinking and things that we're holding in our brains. All right. When we wake up, when we walk around, when we go to bed. And I learned this strategy here from one of my mentors, Brian Tracy, a long time ago. It's called a brain dump. So what you need to do is if you have things that you're walking around holding and they're cluttering up your mind, right? They're cluttering up your mind. Then you need to figure out a way to get them out your mind. And one of the best ways to do that is to put them on paper. So in this system here, this framework here, it says dump all the tasks to dos here. So let's say, for instance, you got 10 things that you need to get done today. So what you would do is you would come here, you would say, okay, walk the dogs. All right. And you might say, okay, well, let me see if they got a, I messed that up. Let me see if they got a, I'm just now starting to use Notion again, but usually you have a undo button. All right, here it is right here. All right, so I gotta see how this interacts. Okay, I'm so used to typing a certain way. So let's say sign off on new guide. All right, and let's say workout at the gym. Or you guys follow what I'm saying? So you'll come here and you will dump. All right, you would dump everything that you think you need to do that day there. You'll get it out your mind. All right, you'll get it out your mind. Okay. Now, the next thing that you would do is you would look at that list and you would choose your top 3 priorities for the day. So what you'll do is you'll look at this list and this is how your thought process will be. All right, if I can't get anything else accomplished today, what are the top 3 things off this list that I need to do? All right, and if I didn't do anything else, I would be totally happy that I was very productive. All right, and then you need to take those 3 and then you need to put them here. Okay, you need to put them here in this spot here. All right, so you'll type out those 3 here. All right, so one of the things that you that might be your non-negotiable is you have to sign off on the new guide. Now, this is something I do. Now, you could do it the way you want to do it. I prioritize. So if this is an A, then I know that I need to do that super first. Or you could just use your number system to signify priority. Your highest priority is number 1, your next highest number 2, your highest number 3, whichever way you do it. Okay. Just wanted to let you guys know that you can customize it. So you take and put your top 3 here. All right. But then you have to do what they call time boxing. Now you have to go over here and you have to assign. All right. You have to go over here and you have to assign a time for that task. So, like, I might say, okay, well, I like to walk my dogs in the evening. All right, which we do. We walk them like around 8 o'clock. So I would put walk the dogs here. Are you guys follow what I'm saying? Now, working out at the gym, I might like to do that before lunch or after lunch. Let's say I like to do it after lunch. All right, I'll say workout at the gym. You know why I do that? Because at 12 o'clock, I'm putting lunch. Or you guys follow what I'm saying? So now this is one thing that I've learned the hard way. And I knew it, but I've seen it. All right. When you are working for yourself and you are the total master and boss of your time, right? You have to make sure that you hold yourself accountable when it comes to your time. Because, guys, when I tell you it's so freaking easy to get off a track, you know, you might start your day off and say, okay, look, I'm going to work on this. And you get to working on it. And then you get sidetracked, right? Something comes up that takes your attention from here to here. And next thing you look up, man, you're an hour, 2 hours gone. You're like, dang, where all the time go? And as an entrepreneur, as a creative, and as somebody who works for yourself from home with no guardrails, no accountability, you have to be very, very disciplined to get things accomplished. And you have to build out systems and frameworks that keep you disciplined. Because if you don't, guys, you're not gonna get a lot done. And don't be somebody that's trying to do multiple things or things that are detailed and stuff like that. And to do that kind of deep work and work, man, you gotta have systems in place that keeps you focused and productive. Now, one of the things that I did when I was in my zone with this, and I'm gonna get back, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna get back, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start talking about this and sharing this with you guys in my content, right? And that's how I did the last time. But what I think about when I look at this, okay, when I think about when I look at this, I say, okay, this is first of all, Harvard says that this is their most successful framework for productivity. Out of all their alumni, their people that go to their schools, their top brains, all that, people who deal with all this detail, the smart people, the effective people. This is their best framework here. So right right off the back, okay, we're gonna go back and track on what we was talking about earlier. I said I learned that the tools weren't the problem, I was the problem. All right, the tools freaking work. I don't work. All right. So as I look at this tool, I say, okay, it's very simple. So I could check the box on that. It's not complicated, right? I got a couple things that I got to focus on and interact with day by day, but I know it's effective because it's already been tested out there in the marketplace. It is very effective. Okay. So when I look at this, what I'm telling myself is, okay, this document is fit to become non negotiable to me. So every day I get up, I have to fill this document out and I have to interact. Or I could do it at nighttime, whichever one works for me. All right. But I got a brain dump. I got to get things out of my mind that I need to do, put them on paper, and then work my top 3 lists. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on interacting with the document throughout the day, because one cool thing about Notion is you can interact with it on your desktop, but then they have a mobile app that you can access everything on. And they have a calendar system. I'm going to show you that real quick. And so you can create notifications, all that kind of stuff with it. So when I knock the top 3 off for the day, I'm going to go back to the list and look for my next top 3 and then put those on. Okay, so what that's going to mean to me is that I'm going to have to consistently be interacting with this part here too. All right. I'm going to have to consistently be interacting with the daily schedule. Because if I plot 3 things here and then I time box them over here, that means that the other 7 are not going to be in the schedule. Now, if the schedule is full, then that's all I can do today if the schedule is full. But now if the schedule's not full, if the schedule is not full, then I can go back in and I can modify the schedule and then time box the next 3 items off that list. But it's going to all depend on if it's full. Like if my schedule's full with other things and I can't add any more things off that to-do list that day, I'll just wait till the next day and add them. Okay. And then here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right. If we look at it, it's very simple, but it's very effective. All right. Dump all the things out your mind that you got to get done, that you need to get done. Choose your top 3 and then time box. Create your schedule, then work your schedule, right? And then what you do is when you accomplish those 3, you get them done. If you got time slots, go over here and grab 3 more, put them here, and then time box them. All right. Then what I'm doing is I have a quote of the day. You guys know me. You know I love quotes of the day. Now here's one for Stephen Covey. Let me put that here because I got to give my man his credit, dude. I don't like not giving people credit. People think I came up with these quotes. All right, so quote of the day. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. All right, did you guys hear that bar, man? From Dr. Stephen Covey. Let me put some respect on his name because he is Dr. Stephen Covey. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. All right, let that one sink in, guys. Let that one sink in. All right. So one way we can have a lot of stuff on our schedule. It can be busy work. It can be things that are not important. All right. Stephen Covey said a loser or a person that's ineffective or non-productive will go try to prioritize that weak list. All right. But if you want to be A, top tier, beast mode, effective, then you don't do it that way. All right. You don't do it that way. What you do is schedule your priorities, figure out what's important. Then you plot that into that time box. And that's what we're doing here with our framework that we got from Harvard. All right. So they're telling you, no, you don't prioritize that schedule. You figure out what's a priority. Then you schedule it into your day. All right. So hopefully you guys got something from that, man. Very, very simple, but very, very effective when you think about it. That's going to help me start fixing my problem, man. And hopefully you guys got something from that today. I'll keep you guys updated. Oh, one other thing that I'm doing with it. Let me take you guys back. All right, let me take you back. Now down here, and I know you could do it. All right. And again, I haven't worked with this in a while. But like I'll do something like notes from the day. So now what I'll do is I'll create a template for this document. So I'm not editing the live document. I'll create a template. And then what I'm gonna do is at the end of my day, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna do some reflection, almost like a quick journal. All right. All right. What did I think about that day? What I got done that day? What I did that day? What I didn't do that day? All right. And I'm gonna do that every single day. Okay. I'm gonna do that every single day. All right. Now, guys, this is something I understand. Okay. And I want you guys to understand this too. All right. I studied personal development out the butt for 10 years, man. While I was at the job, when I came home, that's where the whole coach thing comes from, creating opportunity and change habitually. I'm an avid reader. You guys know, if you know, I had the big library downstairs. I'm constantly reading. Know a lot of things, guys. But this is the thing. It doesn't matter how much you know. What matters is what you do, right? It doesn't matter what you know. What matters is what you do. And guys, when I look back at my life, man, even like right now, you can have a tendency, man, to get pissed off at yourself because you look at your current state and you understand that your current state is a byproduct of how you think, what you did, your disciplines, your habits up until that point. And when you look at your current life and your status, what you've got accomplished, what you didn't get accomplished, you have to understand one thing: you're to blame. You are to blame because everything in your reality you created either directly or by default because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. All right. And if you really want to have some fun, you have to understand that your outer world is a printout of your inner world. Now, I'm going to take you guys a little bit deep on here. Okay. So if I want to change a disorganized office, a disorganized workspace, a disorganized workflow, do I go change it? No. You know what you got to change first? And I'm going to tell you why. Because we manifest from the inside out. All right. All this is, if you ever heard the law of cause and effect, all right, this is the effect. This is the proof, the byproduct. That's why we call this a printout. This is a source. All right. If I want to change out here, I have to change in here. So remember what I told you guys. I figured out that the tools weren't the problem when it came to me being productive and consistent on things. Because the tool works for millions and millions of people. The problem was me. All right. So as you look at your 2026 on the horizon, and if you're sitting around, if you could be honest with yourself, like the old man's being honest with himself, and you say, okay, there's a lot of things that I didn't get done that I need to get done. And I've been making excuses. I've been making excuses. I've been blaming it on anybody and everybody and everything. But as I go in 2026, I'm going to stop making these excuses. I'm going to stop making them. I'm going to be real. I'm a man up. I'm a woman up. All right. I'm going to stop making these excuses. All right. As soon as you do that, you take personal power. All right. You take personal power. All right. And now you can go make some changes. Because when you look at your life, if you take ownership of everything that's happened, didn't happen in your life, that means that you have the ability and the personal power to go in there and change that. All right. If you're giving that personal power to somebody else because you're saying, oh, it's my doggone boss, or it's my spouse, or it's my teacher, it's my baby daddy, my baby mama, if you're if you're if you're hold on one second, guys. If you're give me a minute, my brother messenger me. All right. All right. I gotta start putting my stuff on airplane mode, man. All right. So anyway, if you understand that you are the reason why something is that way, then you have the personal power to change it. And it's the crazy thing, guys. And then we're gonna get on to about talking about our office. Okay, I done got off on a personal development tip. All right. Once you figure out that you are the problem, you're the bottleneck, you're the catalyst, it's not hard to change. And you can literally change fast. Now, you might not manifest a new result fast because that's not the way things work. Things work in seasons, right? You didn't get the way you are yesterday. You got the way you are over years. So you're not going to manifest a total new reality tomorrow just because you change how you think and what you do. But this is the thing. If you commit to changing for real, and you start working on it, guess what? When you get to that point in the future, you're going to wish and hope that you got more time to go in and correct some things because you're going to see that that was the missing key to that sequence, that formula, that framework that you needed to start putting some points on the board. I get excited, man. I really do. I get excited because everything is a learning thing to me, and I get excited because every day that I wake up, I'm presented with a new sheet of paper. So when my feet hit the ground, it's a new world. It's a new world. It's a new world. What happened yesterday doesn't matter. What happens tomorrow doesn't matter. You have to be present in the moment and say, okay, what can I do today that can make me a better person, move me closer towards the goal of being in alignment with who I see here? And then you get to work that day. I learned that lesson the hard way, living in the past, living in the future. No, 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 no. We plan for the future. We reflect on the past, but we handle business today. So like today, I got to get my butt going. I got a lot of things I need to do today. I'm doing this podcast. I'm gonna shoot another one for TikTok. I got some videos I got to make. I got to work on some editing, and all in the hopes, guys, that in the future I'm gonna get a return on that effort. Okay, and I'm happy because I'm in control of it. I own it, yeah. So 2026, guys, don't make no excuses. Don't make them excuses. Figure out what's your bottleneck. What's the thing that's holding you back? All right. And then get that fixed. Okay. So let's talk about this whole home office thing. And yeah, guys, when I tell you that one of the most beautiful things that I experience in my life right now is the fact that when I get up in the morning, I don't have to go anywhere to do what it is that I'm trying to do in my life financially. All right, I get to wake up like you guys look at it right now. It's 7:45. I've been up since 5 o'clock. I usually wake up 3:30, 4:30. Man, jump up out the bed. I can't wait. I can't wait to walk down that hallway and to come into my creative space, my AK office, the lab, my studio slash my part-time man cave. I can't wait. Why can't I wait? Because I love working from home. I love owning my creative space. I love the fact that I don't have to get up and go to a job. I don't have to go deal with some bosses, some coworkers, some employees that I don't want to deal with. I love that nobody has any say so in my day outside of my wife but me. And one of the things I told myself when I knew I was getting ready to make that escape from that job was that I wanted to create an environment that was very supportive and in alignment with who I was and how I wanted to work, right? And so I set this office up. I'm kind of happy with it, man. It's a nice creative space. You know, when I come in here, I'm inspired because I have these big old pictures and posters framed with all this motivation. I have a, you guys can't see it because I got it blurred out. I have a, I think that's like a 55 or 65-inch TV on the wall. And that's where I could turn on and listen to my podcasts and watch my motivational videos. I have all the gadgets that I need in the office for me to be creative and productive. You know, I have the computers, the lights, the printers, everything. Okay. Everything here in this office to stay productive. Okay. I have everything that I need here. Hold on one second, guys. Somebody trying to message me. I have everything that I need here to be productive in this office. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to share with you guys, I want to share with you some things that I've learned over the last years when it comes to setting up your office. Okay. So, again, you know, you might be working remotely for your company. You might be a part time worker out of your home office. You work some from the office and the job and some from home. All right. You might be somebody out here that's running, that launched and runs a side hustle. Something you do in the crevices of your day. You know, you go to the job, then you come home, you work on your empire, your side hustle. Or you might be somebody like me, all right, who's a full-time entrepreneur. You know, we're doing this whole pinky in the brain thing. Okay. Now, the thing that I want to tell you about a home office, what I learned um, is that it's good to go get inspiration. It is. It's good to go look at what other people are doing and see why they're doing it. All right. And that could be design, that could be functionality, that could be space, size, optimization. It's good to go look at what other people are doing with their home offices. But if you really want to be effective out of your space, you're going to have to make that home office yours, right? So you're going to have to sit down and figure out what it is that you're trying to do in the space. Okay. If you want it to be something, say, like if you're a creator, you shoot a lot of content and videos, and you're not going to be doing a lot of other things in there, then that space you're going to want to set up, you know, specifically for that. So that might means that you might have like, you might be very conscious of your walls because if you're shooting video, that's going to be in your background. So design, color, all right, decorations, light, and all that's going to be key. Now, if you're not shooting any content out of your space, you might say, okay, I just need to be productive because I'm not going to be shooting a lot of content. What I'm going to be doing in there is working, doing that thing, right? So if that's the case, then you're going to need to plan your space and have it optimized for productivity and production. Okay. That space might look totally different than how a space for a creator would look. Okay. And you need to again sit down and think about what it is that you're trying to do out the space. Now, also, once you figure out what you're trying to do, all right, then that's going to determine what you need to go to the store or go to Amazon or TikTok shop or wherever you're going to buy it from, and start piecing together the tools, the furniture, and the design. Okay. But remember, the first thing we got to do is figure out what the heck are we trying to do in the space? What are we going to try to do in the office? Okay. Then from there, we're going to figure out, okay, then what do I need to acquire that's going to turn this space into what I need it to be? Okay. And you're going to do that. Now, the next thing that you need to do is understand that, and I'm just going to tell you how I think about an office, that it's a work in progress. It's fluid. It's not static. So as I do things in my office, I'm gonna notice things, right? I'm gonna notice things that I say, okay, that's good, but I need better. And so at first I didn't know what I didn't know because I didn't have, but once I started working out the office, I started seeing how things work. And I said, okay, well, that light was good, but now I need better. And kind of giving guys an idea, I just upgraded my lighting in here. I went from ring lights to what they call full lights. So they're these big circle lights. Let me see if I can turn this around without messing it up. You guys can see. You see that right there? All right, you see these here? That's what those are. Okay, let me see if I can get it back in focus now. I be living on the edge, man, doing some risky stuff. But no, so I just upgraded those. Now, this is the thing. With those new lights, I'm seeing that I'm getting a different outcome with my videos. All right. My footage, my content is looking different. I done went from a shot where I'm way back to where now I got the camera up close, right? I got the camera up close, so I'm getting a different kind of shot. So as I'm using these new lights and I'm creating this content, I'm looking at my content, I'm thinking about, okay, what do I need next? All right, what do I need next? All right, because at first I started off buying the 2 lights. And I use one out there in the hallway where I shoot some of my reviews for my products at. And then I had one in here. Then I brought them both in here and I said, okay, let me see if I can situate these so I can shoot my podcasts with these new lights. And when I did that, it was weird because I didn't look to do it, but it changed how I was framing the content. Like I'm way up closer now in your face, where my old podcasts, I used to be way back. But now with these new lights and the way things are set up, I'm shooting like this. And to me, it's a warmer feeling. It feels like I connect with my audience better because I'm up close now. All right, so when I got those two, I had some tabletop LED lights here. All right, and I was thumbing through the TikTok shop looking for some new products to review, and I ran across a desktop version of the lights I have by the same company. I said, okay, well, wow, if I get that light, that'll fix that other problem that I have, and that'll update that, but then I can review it. And I got this light, and guys, when I tell you this one was a game changer. All right, but this is the thing. These lights work very, very good in my space. All right, so I'm glad that I upgraded. I'm glad that I changed. But now that I've actually implemented the lights, I'm seeing other things that I need to change or that I need to improve. All right. So that's what I mean when I say you can't, your home office can't be static. All right. It can't be static. It's fluid. All right. So as you engage with it, you're going to try things and do things. You're going to say, okay, I like that or don't like that. And then you're going to make your adjustments. Right. But what's going to happen over time, you're going to create that perfect space for yourself. And I don't get emotionally tied to anything in my office. Right. Let me stop lying. Let me stop lying. I get emotionally tied to some things, but not everything, right? Because I'm always looking to get better and change. Okay. Like I bought some printers. I bought some printers for the office that I was using when I was doing or attempting to do a couple other businesses. One is a label printer that I used when I was running my eBay store. And then another one is a laser printer that I was using when I was into direct mail and I was trying to sell information through the mail. Okay. Now, I'm not doing either one of those businesses anymore. And so I've been looking at these 2 printers and say, okay, do I need you? Are you relevant to what I'm doing now? And that's how I'm looking at everything in my office. Like to give you an example, like I told you guys, I got 4, had more than I got 4 big 30 something by 30 something posters framed in nice frames with motivational quotes and things like that. And I was thinking about, did I still want to have that on my walls or did I want to go more to some contemporary art and make my office feel like that type of office? And so I've been thinking about that and trying to decide. And this is the thing, guys. It's no right or wrong. It's what works for you, right? It's what worked for you. I had a library downstairs that I got rid of so I can give the space to my wife so she can have an office. So what I did was I consolidated my books and I bought 2 new bookshelves that I added up here that houses all of my best books that I used to have in the library. And when I did that, that gave my office a different type of feel. Because at first my office used to feel like a like a game room slash a creative space. And now with the bookshelves and some of the other stuff that I've done, it's starting to feel more like an office. Okay. But again, it's whatever works for you. Now, when you think about office, here's a couple things that you need to think about. You need to think about design. True enough, we know we got to have it look a certain way. All right. You got to think about functionality. So equipment and does your equipment that you need do a certain thing? Does your furniture that you have do a certain thing? So you got to think functionality and design. Okay. Then you got to think inspiration. Okay. When I walk into this space, am I inspired to do what I need to do? And depending on what you're trying to do, your level of inspiration or how you inspire yourself is going to be different. Like if you are an author and you're trying to write and be creative like that, then your office is going to be set up totally different than somebody who's a streamer, all right, and trying to be inspired to stream, or somebody that's a creative, an artist or a content creator, something like that. It's going to all be set up. But at the end of the day, you do you. You ask yourself, okay, does this make me feel the way I want to feel when I come through the doors? And do I have things put in place that allow me to do what it is that I need to do? All right. Environment and functionality. Now, the last thing you need to look at in your office, okay, in your home office, is your systems, your software, all right, your technology. And one of the things I'm so happy of, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so happy that we're at a point now where the price of technology is constantly going down. Things that used to cost us a fortune to get, we can get super cheap. All right, super cheap. High definition. Like this camera that I'm testing right now, this is not my usual camera. I usually use a Logitech 1080p high definition camera. This is a camera that I got off the TikTok shop. It's a eMeet 4K camera. Guys, guess how much I paid for this camera? When I bought this camera, I think I spent $50 on it. It's a regular $90 camera, $80, $90 camera. All right. It's marked down right now to $30. You can buy this same 4K high definition camera I'm shooting with right now for $30 for your office. Okay. So technology is super cheap. When you think about software, I'm a software guy. I use a lot of software to do my businesses. I'm working with AI. And so even with AI, I'm probably working with probably about 4 different platforms and then probably about, and I'm not exaggerating, guys, I probably got subscriptions to about 20 different platforms and tools that sit around AI. Okay. And that's not counting my other stuff that I have, like my Canva, my CapCuts, and things like that. I'm heavy on software. But I told my wife one day, I said, I'm willing to pay what I pay for the software because I'm getting access to things. Like I remember when I used to do web design back in the day, for me to get a license for Photoshop and their design suite, you have to spend almost $1,200, man, to get that. And then you have to pay that every so often to get it updated and upgraded. And now with SaaS, with cloud software, I go pay $20 and I get access to a full platform. All right. Like right now, I pay 30, I think it's 30 something dollars a month for Chat GPT. And when I tell you I've extracted I built my whole business off of it. My whole business off of it. So software, man, yeah, super cheap, super effective. Your value is way up here, but your price is way down here. And if you're going to have a successful home office, you got to give yourself the tools that you need to be productive and to be effective. And software is very important. Get the software. One of the things I pride myself on, man, is I'm a researcher, man. So I'm constantly So I got things set up with AI where it feeds me all the latest greatest, right? Because I'm constantly looking at things. And if you're working from home and you're trying to build something and you're trying to be effective out here as an entrepreneur, you're only going to be as effective as your tools, right? So software is key because software is the tool that allows you to be able to make it happen. All right. So invest in software. Figure out your software. So we talked about environment, inspiration, functionality, and then the tools that you need to make it happen. Okay. I think it's a blessing, and you have to understand it is a blessing if you're able to work from home in any capacity, man. If your job has let you work from home remotely, that's a blessing. All right. If you're running a side hustle that you're trying to build and you're doing that for home, that's a blessing. All right. If you're running a full-time enterprise that you're trying to run from home, that's a blessing. Because you got to think about it, man. When you work from home, man, you don't have to commute. You don't have to commute. You could do it any time of the day. Like right now, I'm working in some of my new Christmas pajama pants. Okay. I couldn't do that if I worked for a company. Okay. I get to listen to and watch what I want to watch. All right. So if that's the case, then we might as well be very intentional when it comes to our home offices. Okay. So hope you guys got something from that. Just remember the big rocks when it comes to your home office, the main things. Figure out what it is that you're trying to do in a home office. Then sit down and think about what you want your home office to feel like, look like when you go into it, because you got to be inspired. And then what are you going to need? What are you going to need to get in there and do the job effectively? How are you going to be pinky in the brain if you don't have the tools? All right, get in there and get the equipment, get the software that you need, and then get to work. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by the podcast, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure that you like the show. If you like this episode, man, do it. Leave a comment, follow me, and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. God bless.